If I were to offer advice to a parent who's found themselves in this place, I would say, allow for yourself to make mistakes because it's going to happen. You can't know everything. I'm Jackie Pierce, and I am a parent who has experienced addiction in my life, both in my larger family and in my immediate family, and has created a passion in me to support other families.
You must have that channel of communication open.
By bringing other people into that process, it broke that feeling of being alone.
More like, oh, we're talking about drugs and alcohol because I'm a teen and I might encounter that.
Our son is someone who struggles with this disease, and we're fortunate that there were times in his later years of being a teenager and into young adulthood when he shared his story. And that opened up the door for us to share our story as his parents. So whenever I speak to anyone about our story, I do so with his consent and his permission. The normal course of being a parent is watching your child engage in all sorts of activities that they love. And what we experienced as our son got closer to teenage years and began high school was that those were falling away. What we didn't know at that time was that he had picked up marijuana. Not knowing that, we thought we were dealing with all sorts of behavior issues. And it took quite a bit of time for us to understand that substances were in the mix. And our source of information for that really couldn't be our son, because he was protecting his source. He was protecting being able to do this. We got some wind of it from his friends, some statements that would be made about his obsession with the drugs, and that was all he talked about, which was different from their casual use of substances. And then we were just watching things in his life just fall apart. And everything from school to friends to extra activities were just falling by the wayside. And a lot of behaviors that were bringing us in contact with a lot of different people trying to figure out what was wrong. I'm a parent who doesn't mind asking for help. I'm quick to acknowledge that I don't have the answers and can't have the answers for everything that's going on with my child. Doctors are professionals in the medical field, and as parents, we reach out to them when something's physically wrong with our child. So when I was experiencing emotional and behavioral issues, I was seeking the advice of experts. That's what I do, but I know that that's not something that everyone does. One of the things about dealing with this as a parent is your peers seem to be moving on with their children experiencing the normal things, and you're stuck in a place where things are going pretty badly, and the reason they're going badly is something that you don't really want to share with people. I remember experiencing community gathering and supporting families who were dealing with a child with cancer, and feeling like I wanted to do that as well. My child was struggling with an illness as well, but not one that I felt I could share. When your child has this tendency, or the disease itself, their behaviors are such that it changes people's perception of them. It also can change people's perception of you as a parent. and they become focused just on the behaviors and lose sight of what's causing those behaviors. When you're in the midst of this, you feel very alone. You feel like you're the only one who's going through this with your child. And there's a large part of me that felt like it was my fault. There was something that I had done wrong as a parent or failed to do that had brought this on. That isolation, the tendency to hide what's happening in your family, wasn't working for us, because all we could rely on when we were doing that was our own thinking and our own knowledge, which was limited. It had to be limited. We had never done anything like this. Nobody could really know how I felt, but I could bring people into our process and start to learn more of what was available to me and start to have access to their wisdom and their experience. So whether it was professionals or other parents who were going through it, by bringing other people into that process, it broke that feeling of being alone. When we were going through this, there wasn't a lot of support for family members. Wits End started in 2002, and its purpose was to support family members and caregivers of young adults, teenagers who struggle with substance abuse disorder, substance abuse itself, and to help families have a place where they can go to and be among people who understand. Reach out for as much resources as you can, because there's so much out there to help you. Learn how to talk with your child, because amazingly, that's what you're gonna have to do. Talking about this with your child is not something that you'll just know how to do. You're going to need to get some help to learn how to do that. Because communication is key. We can become so fixated on fixing this problem that we sort of lose sight of our child. And that's not good for them, and it's not good for us. So learning how to communicate with them, find out why they're doing what they're doing, find out ways to help them figure out a new way to meet the need that they're meeting through using these substances. All those things require information that we might not have and practice on our part to learn how to do that. I think one of the things that I would want to make sure parents understand is how important it is to take care of yourself. It's akin to the oxygen mask instructions that you get when you get on a plane. You've got to put your own on before you can put somebody else's on. So you're going to be in a better position to assist your child if you're taking care of yourself. That involves finding ways to not be hyper-fixated on this problem. Enjoy other things in your life and enjoy other people in your life. And most importantly, enjoy this child who has this issue, because that's not all that there is about them.